Hello and welcome to this session. I'm Raghav and today we are going to learn Log4j from scratch. So if you do not know anything about Log4j, do not worry. We are going to go very basic step by step and learn what is Log4j and how to implement Log4j in a Java project. We will also look at configuration files like log4j.properties and log4j.xml, and we will look at some useful tips. So let's get started. And Log4j is a Java based logging framework. So this is written in Java and used to log information, and it is a very simple, flexible, reliable and fast logging framework. And we configure Log4j through configuration files, which can be XML file, properties file, and it can also be a YAML file and JSON file and so on. We will look into it in more details. So let us very quickly look at a practical example, and the very first step is you have to add log4j libraries in your Java project. So let me go to my Eclipse, and here I have this maven project already created. So to get log4j libraries, you can go to your browser and go to Google log4j and enter, and the very first site that you will get is logging.apache.org. This is the official website for Log4j. If you go here, you will find this download here, this download section. Go here, and here you can get all this Log4j libraries. So you can get the zip file, unzip it, and then add the jars in your project. So in case you are getting the jars, you can do a right click on your project and then go to build path, configure build path, and go to libraries, and then add external jars, and then browse your jars and add it here. But in our case, because we have a maven project, so we will add the dependencies, maven dependencies in pom.xml. So if you go here and if you search for this maven, there is a section for maven. If you click here, you will find this maven dependencies that you can add in your pom.xml. So I will just copy the dependency part from here. I will copy it from here and go to my project, go to pom.xml, and at the bottom I will just add these dependencies. And to ident, I will press Ctrl A. If you are on Mac, you can press Command A and then Control I or Command I, and it will ident it. And you can see these are the two dependencies. And as soon as you save your project, or you can auto build also, it will add the dependency. So you can just go to your maven dependencies and search. You should get log4j dependencies here. And yes, you can see here we have this log4j API and log4j core here. Okay, and you can follow this in if you have any Java project. So although I am doing this in one of the projects that I have been creating, a Selenium project, but even if you are having some different project, you can follow this. We are going to go very basic step by step here. So this is step one. We have added the log4j libraries, and then we will create a reference for log4j logger class in the class wherever we want to add the log statements. So let me do this thing. I will go to my source main Java package here and create a new package, and I will call this as demo and say finish. And here I will create a new class. I will say this is I will say this is log4j demo, and I will just hit this create a main method so that it will automatically generate a main method for us, and you can see this is our class. Okay, now here what I will do is I will create an instance for the logger class, and I will say logger, and I can use any object name. I will just say logger equals logger manager. So let me just see, let me just first import this logger, and if I hover over this, it is giving me several options. So make sure that you take it from this Apache logging log4j. Should be log manager, and yes, we have log manager. And please make sure that you take it from this Apache logging log4j and not from Java util or any other log manager. and here you will say dot get logger, and in the brackets I will mention my class. So I will say this is log4j demo dot class. Okay, so this is, we are saying that we have to create a logger for this particular class, and now this logger variable is created, and using this I can log the log command. So for example, let me just create a simple sysout statement. Here I will say syso, press control spacebar on my keyboard and autocomplete this, and I'm just saying hello world, a simple program, and I will press backslash n to go to the next line, and in the starting also I will press backslash n to go to the next line. So I'm just printing hello world here, and here now we can use this logger, and if you say logger dot, you will find a lot of options. Now it is not taking this logger. I think we will have to make it as static. So I can make it as static because we are referring it in a static method, and I can also make it as private, which is optional. So now if I say logger here, you can see we are getting a lot of options, and you can have different log levels. So let me say we can have info, and you can log any message here, and I will say this is information message, and then I can also say logger dot error. I will use this constructor which is having only a message, and I will say this is an error message, and so on. We can have multiple other levels. So let me also show you some other levels. I will say copy here and paste, and I will use warn, and I will say this is a warning message. Also we have levels like fatal, and I will say this is a fatal message. Now in this case I am just showing you a demo. In real life what you will do is you will add this logger statements wherever you want within your project or within your test or within your script. Okay, and at the end I will just say syso control spacebar so that I get this auto completed, and I will say completed. Okay. Okay, so now I will just save this, and now if you run this, I will do a right click and I will say run as Java application. Now if you go to your console, let me just show you. If you go here, you can see it is printing hello world, it is printing error message and fatal message, and not other messages like info. Info it is not printing, it is not printing warning, only error and fatal, and also it is giving us an error. So it is saying no log4j2 configuration file found. So now we have to add a configuration file, and if you do not add a configuration file, by default it will log on the console from the error level. So error and above levels will be logged on the console. So if you just want to know the levels, I will tell you in a moment, but now we have to add a log4j configuration file, and this is our next step. So we have to create either a log4j.xml file or log4j.properties file. Now these are configuration files in log4j where we have some key value pairs to provide the settings, and what is the difference between these files we will discuss in a later session. But for now, let me just show you log4j properties, which is most commonly used. And one of the major differences here is in log4j.xml, if you created an XML file, you get some more options. There are some options which you cannot configure in a properties file. So people who do deep level of coding and want deep level of logging, they use XML files, and I will tell you in the next session about XML files. But today let us discuss on log4j properties, which is very simple. So here you have to create a file. I will go to this resources folder, src main resources. I will do a right click, go to new, and I am finding a option for file here. If you do not find it here, you can go to others, and then you will find the option for file. Go to file, and here say log4j2 properties. Now remember, you have to say log4j2, not log4j.properties, because log4j1 is now no longer used and it is now no longer uh, updated or supported. So we have to use log4j2.properties and say finish. So we have got this file here. Now what to write here? So let us again go to our browser and I will say log4j.properties file example. So yes, this is one good example from this site. Let me also see some other examples. So see, you can also get it from here, which is the Apache official site. So if I search for log4j properties file example Java, there was a very good article I just saw. Let me just see. Yes, I think this is the one. This explain it very beautifully and in a very simple way. Yes, this is from Spring Framework Guru. I will also provide the link in the notes or description section of this video. So if you go down here, we have done all these things. We have done the maven dependencies and everything. Let us go a little more down. And here, yes, so this is the section that explains in a very good way and in a very simple way to create a log4j properties file. So I will just copy it from here and go to my project and paste it here, and I think it copied 2 times. So yeah, this is it. So you see, this is how we create. The first thing, the first section is we say name properties config, we say properties dot file name logs, and then append us. So in case you want to log the information both in the console, which is this console output, and then also to a file, you can say console comma file. So this is the first section, and then the next section is here. So here I will copy this again, copy this from here, go to my project and paste it. Yes, so now you see this second section. This is the settings for the console log. So we are logging on the console and on the file. For the console, these are the settings. So we are saying the console type console std out, and then the pattern here, and then for the file, these are the settings. So we are saying file log file. Here you give the file name. So here you are seeing he is taking it from this variable file name, which is coming from here. So it will create a folder called logs and then create a file called properties logs.log. In case you do not want that, you can also give some direct name here. For example, I say my logs.log, so it will be created here directly in the project level. But let us just use this file name, and name of course I will change here. I will say my logs.log, and then the pattern again, and this was the third section. And then again let me go here and let me again go a little more down, and this is the last section. So here, okay, so here you can see root logger level, then root logger append reference and all these things. So this is the level that we are setting here, and there was one thing missing here. If I go down, yes, there was this file logger section missing. I will copy this again from here, go to my project, and here add this. Okay, so here we are saying loggers file, and here in the logger.file.name you can give your package name. So in my case this is demo. I will say this is demo here. Okay, and then all this is fine. So now we have this log4j.properties file, and now I will go back again to our log4j demo class. I will do a right click, and let's just see, we as of now we don't have any log folder here and no log file. I will say run as Java application again, and here if you see the console, you can see everything is logged here, and we also do not have any errors. And now if I refresh the project, you can press F5, or I will go right click and refresh it. Do you see we now have this logs folder created? And if you go inside this, you can see my logs, and you can see the same information is logged here. So you can see this is information message error warning fetter. And also if I go back here, so suppose if I'm saying a trace level, so there is also a trace level here. So here let me just also create a trace level logger, and here I will say this is trace message, and I will just explain you about these levels. And if I run this again, let me again just remove this file and save it, and I will run it again, run as Java application. So here, do you see we are not getting the message for the trace level here, as well as if you go to your file, so if you go to your mylogs.log, even here you are not seeing the trace message. So that is because in our log4j.properties, if you see here the level, so you can see the level here. So here it is debug, so it will only log debug level and above. So if I say trace here, and I will say here also root logger level as trace, and let me see if I have the level here for console. I don't think there is a console, so it will take from the root. Okay, and I will save it, and let me delete this file and go back to my class and run as Java application, and I will save it. And now let us see. So you can see we are getting the trace message as well here, and the same thing, let me just verify from my file, we are getting the trace message here as well. Okay, so step number 4 was to run and validate, that we have already done. And here are the log levels. So if you want to have a look, you can pause this video and read about the log levels. We have different kind of log levels here, and also I will provide all these notes and links in the description or notes section of this video. And now let us look at some very quick useful tips. So you can configure to append or overwrite in your log file. So for example, as of now it is overwriting, and if you just want that it should not overwrite but just append, then you can say here appender dot file dot append equals true, and save it, and let me run it again. So if I run this now, run as Java application, and I will refresh my project. I will press F5 and go to my logs, and now you can see it is now appending. So all this message, it was the first information, it was logs from the first run, and from here it is the logs from the second run. So now it will go on appending in the same log files. The other thing is you can also set logging to off when not required. Now you may want to set logging off in case you are doing very heavy logging, and in case it is making your execution a little slower, or due to any other reason you might want to make it as off. So again you can go to your log4j properties, and here so wherever you have this level, make it as off. So I will make it off here, I can make it off as here as well. Okay, and just to confirm I'm getting this off, I will delete this file and see if this gets created again. I will delete this log file, save this, and run this again, run as Java application, and okay. Now do you see here we don't have any logs getting logged here, and also if I refresh my project, let me just check, and if you see my logs is created but there is no data in the log file, so you can also make it as off. So just a quick information on Log4j configuration file. This will be useful in your interview questions or just for knowledge. Log4j is configured through a configuration file that we just saw, and it can be a XML, JSON, YAML or properties file. We just saw a properties file, and then it is a set of key value pairs that we have seen. And in this file there are three main components, which are loggers, appenders and layouts, and that we have seen here. If you see, so we have loggers, appenders, and then we have layouts. So these are the loggers are to log information, appenders are to tell whether to go on a console or to go on a file, and then layouts are some formats. Also, configuring logging via a file has the advantage that logging can be turned on or off without modifying the application that uses Log4j, which we have already seen. And there are some FAQs. Again, this will be very useful in interview questions and also useful for basic knowledge. Log4j is written in Java, so it is cross-platform. It is a part of Apache Logging Services, which is a part of Apache Foundation. So it is open source, and it was initially released in January 2001. So this is the official repository link on GitHub. I will provide this in the description or note section as well. And this is the website that we have already seen. And as I have already discussed, Log4j1 is now no longer used and we have to upgrade to Log4j2. In case you are still using Log4j1, then please upgrade to Log4j2. So let us do a very quick recap. Today we learned what is Log4j and how to implement Log4j in a Java project in a very basic step-by-step manner. I hope this session was very useful for you. If you liked it, please hit the like button and also share with all your groups and share with others. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon so that you can keep receiving notifications on new videos. I will meet you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.